Now we're on the inside of the brewery, and with me is Larry. Larry is one of the founders of CRUX Fermentation. Hello, Larry. Thank you for inviting me to your brewery.
Yeah, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to talk to folks from Europe. I really enjoy it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do people often come from Europe to visit the brewery?
Quite often. Last week I had folks from Australia here.
Okay.
And I get probably, just brewers in general. I probably get 30 brewers, 40 brewers a year from Europe coming through here.
It was the same with me. I got a recommendation by a German brewer who was born in Vancouver, some miles away from here, and he said, if you come to Bend, you've got to see CRUX Fermentation.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
that's great to hear. Yeah. And actually in Bend, we get a lot of German and European visitors here. My wife works for the visitor center.
Okay.
So she kind of scopes out who's coming and going.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So talking about the brewery, when did you start your business?
2011.
So
5 years.
5 years almost.
Yeah.
But I was told that this place was the original brew house, but you already expanded after 5 years.
Yes. So this is 6,000 square feet, and I have about a hectare of land here. So people joke with me that I have the only public park in Bend that serves beer.
Okay.
But I have that, and then I have a 40,000 square foot production facility that's north of here.
So your beer must be quite good, as the request rises, right?
Well, that's what they tell me. So
I haven't checked yet, so we find out later on.
We should go get a beer right
Yeah, later on.
Yeah.
What kind of styles do you do with the CRUX Fermentation?
All styles.
So you're not specialized on...
I'm not specialized. I do a lot of barrel-aged beers. I do what we call wild beers that have different Saccharomyces yeast and different bacteria, and makes a lot of people nervous. So I do that. I do Belgian beers. You'll find it hilarious that my #1 selling beer is a Pilsner.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's strange enough.
Yeah, I think that's very strange, but...
we Europeans do think that the most famous beer in an American brewery must be an IPA.
Yeah, well, I would say, our IPAs are our second most selling, but, it's funny that Pilsners have been adopted, and, I started my brewing career brewing lagers and Pilsners, and something that just comes naturally to me, and so my customers obviously have picked up on that.
And you do wet hop beers, I got invited for picking some hops. Well, the first time for me ever picking hops.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious what goes on later on here at the brew kettle. So do you do this on the regular basis or just during the harvest season?
Just the harvest. The only time we can do this is during the harvest season. So this year we're making 5 fresh hop beers. So we're doing one to, it's called Dr. Jack because it was Dr. Jack Horner who bred the Cascade hop that we picked today. Yeah. And then today's beer is one that's called Off the Fence because we picked it off of a fence. And then we're also brewing a beer called Way Too Fresh today, where we pick some hops up from Mosaic hops from the Willamette Valley, which is about a 2-hour drive from here. And then we picked up some Simcoe hops from the Yakima Valley, and that's about a 4-hour drive. So we picked those up, and they're being added to the brewery as we speak, and that's why we're calling it Way Too Fresh, TWO.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're also brewing one called Crystal Swickle. You know what a swickle is?
No, I have no idea.
A swickle is a sample device on a tank. So
a swickle. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Swickle, as we say in German.
Yeah, a sample. Yeah.
Wow.
And so the Crystal is actually a Czechoslovakian German hop that was bred in the United States. And so that's why we call it Crystal after the hop, and then Swickle. So Crystal, so like Cristal hop,
Okay.
And so that, and then we're also brewing a third one. We did one for a wedding. So we have a fellow that the son of one of our founders. His son is getting married in October. So we brewed a beer just especially for him, and he actually did go pick up the hops yesterday.
So we're not worried that you're not staying busy around the year. So you're doing lots of things. So fermentation project is not a word.
Right.
You're filling with life, right?
Yeah. Fermentation project is what we do. We make sauerkraut, we make pickles, we do anything related to fermentation is we're trying.
And you have the first tasting room right in the middle of the brewery, so everybody is coming to your tasting room can get a nose, an eye, and a hand on the really brewing process.
Right. We're sitting right next to the spent grain hopper that will go out to the farmer to feed his cows. So we like to say that we've put we have a restaurant that's in a brewery.
Okay.
Versus a lot of brew pubs are breweries that happen to be in a restaurant.
Okay.
So, for example, the hop cooler is right there.
Yeah.
So when you sit here and drinking your beer, the brewer will open up the hop room, and then all of a sudden you can just watch people, everybody just look up and go, "What's that smell?" And it's the hops.
So it's kind of educational tap room, so people can.
Yeah.
So Larry, thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah.
And
pleasure.
Now we go to the bar and try some beer, right?
That sounds great. Let's go do that.
Sure.
Cheers.